Daylight saving time, how to see the spring sky wink. Hi there everyone, glad you're here with us to see what's up in the sky as it relates to the daylight saving time mark in the spring, what we call the spring wink in the sky. If this is your first time here, welcome to you. I'm Shannon, and this video is a part of a go at your own pace free beginner course in alternative astronomy. And there are a couple of playlists we've created for everything we've already covered so far, so you can catch up if you need to. This piece is specifically part of the solstice, equinox, and daylight saving time playlist that you can find here on the channel. Alright, so for those of you who have been following along, you'll remember that back in the fall season, we looked at the fall daylight saving time mark, what we call the fall wink. And what we're going to look at in this piece is the opposite of that fall trick or treat in the sky, as we focus our alternative astronomy lens on the spring wink. So just like in the fall, the daylight saving time mark in the spring is a moving date on the calendar every year, because the spring wink will always be the second Sunday of March, regardless of the calendar date. So for this year, when I'm making this video, 2022, daylight saving time ends March 13th. So we've got a screenshot of what's going on with the sky story starting on March 10th, 2022. And we're looking at what's to be seen in the sky the hour after the sun sets for the day. We're also looking at this sky story specifically from the perspective of someone on the ground in the northern hemisphere, and specifically from what we commonly call America. And that's because in most places here in America, we still observe the practice of turning our clocks back 1 hour in the fall on the first Sunday in November, and then turning our clocks ahead 1 hour again in the spring, the second Sunday of March. Now, many other locations around the world do not observe this practice, and it's because they don't need to. We're also looking again at that very special place in the sky we've nicknamed the real oracle or the real all-seeing eye, which is found simply by facing due south and looking up above the horizon into the sky. So notice here on March 10th, just after the sun sets, the star constellations we've already learned about, Pisces, Cetus, Aries, and Taurus, are now all found to be to the west side of that special cross of the north-south meridian line and the arc of the ecliptic. And notice that Pisces, the westernmost constellation in this scene, has even started to dip below the western horizon, with one of the two fish's heads no longer visible from our perspective. Now we're looking again the next day, March 11th, same time at sunset, and from the same location here on the ground. And it looks pretty much the same as the day before, right? And this is exactly what we expect. As we've been learning, the star constellations that we're looking at are moving only little by little to the west as they travel along the arc of the ecliptic as we track them night over night. So we're moving ahead now to the next day, March 12th at sunset. Same location, still noticing the same thing. Checking out Pisces, still going or starting to go down in the western horizon, and everything is still moving along just like we expect to see. But when we go forward to the next day, March 13th, we see quite a different looking sky story than we would expect, right? Since we're looking at the same time and from the same location, right? Well, this is the result of the daylight saving time mark, or what we call the spring wink, where we jump ahead 1 hour on our clocks, but that means that everything we've been tracking along the arc of the ecliptic in the sky jumps back. Now, this change in the clock hour has not changed the time of sunset in the reality above our heads, but it will appear that way if you're just going by the time that you're reading on a clock. As you can see, Pisces, the two fishes there, has now appeared to have jumped back up from below the western horizon. We have to go ahead another hour later into the night, at least on the clock, to see a sky story that we would have expected to see usually without this little trick of real time traveling that we've just seen here. Daylight saving time is an adjustment on the clock for those of us living in the northern regions because of the difference of the number of sunlight hours between the winter and summer seasons. This is to help sync things up. We'll be looking much more into the fall and spring wink phenomenon in future pieces, as they have become the subjects of many famous stories, but you just didn't know it. And one step at a time, we'll be uncovering this highest knowledge that has been hidden in plain sight and kept over all of our heads by many an actor telling great stories, oftentimes doing it with a wink and a smile. We've got books to help beginners learn more about how the heavens above all of our heads really moves, and much more that you can find on our website, starsnearme.com. You can find the links down below in the description. Subscribe to the channel for more free videos here. Like, comment, and share if you would be so kind, as it does help us independent channels grow to help reach more people to reclaim this highest knowledge that most of us have all but, let's say, lost in space. Thanks for all of your support in this mission, and until next time, stay lit and be well.